Introducing impulsing. My name is Denise Ingebo. I'm an independent theorist in neuroscience, the study of the nervous system, and at the lay level. And when I was younger, a problem I had was that my feelings hurt. And when they didn't get better, I began a study to learn how feelings happen. After a few years working on my own, I was admitted to the University of Oregon, Clark Honors College, independent study in the Department of Neurobiology. And the technique that I used led to proposing a theory, a concept called impulsing. Impulsing gives us a way of tracing impulse activity in the nervous system while describing the work that it does, including forming our consciousness. Impulsing works like this. The nervous system is made up of groups of neurons with branches that reach to other groups, and they reach to larger groups of organized neurons, specialized neuron groups, and together these pathways and neuron groups form a circuitry in the body. Now, when the sensory neuron groups absorb energy, whatever energy they're designed to absorb, they immediately translate it into another form of energy called electrochemical energy, or impulses. And then they generate patterns of impulses through these pathways and organizations or neural architectures that make up the nervous system, energizing each in turn, forming a lightning-like series of energized neuron groups like falling dominoes throughout the circuitry, doing different work as different areas are energized. So it's a lot like defining electricity and then describing the work that it does as components for radio, for example, are energized to form a stream of sound. So in this case, we'll be looking at how a stream of consciousness is formed. In fact, impulsing may be as fundamental to understanding how the nervous system works as electricity is to understanding how a radio works. So let's apply impulsing to an inner circuitry of the nervous system called the conscious pathways. This is made up of 4 linked areas that neuroscientists associate with consciousness, or kinds of conscious work. So we'll follow impulsing as it forms different kinds of conscious instants that blur together to form our everyday, seamless conscious stream. So beginning in the first area, we'll see how sensory groups absorb energy, translate it into impulses, and then generate trails or a series of energized neuron groups. And we'll see how this forms a sensation in us, a separate conscious instant. When the trail continues, it forms a permanent record of each conscious instant or sensation that we've experienced into a vast network of records that we make up throughout our lives. Then when the trail continues, it goes on to energize related records made in the past. Then when these areas gather and overlap, representing recent sensations and thoughts, when they overlap, they're resolved and reinforced, and we'll see how we experience a thought. Then when a different set of energized areas gather and overlap in a different area, we'll see that this reinforced resolution generates a trail to the body's muscle, which elicits a pattern of tones, having the same pattern of tones as the preceding sensation or thought. So we'll see that each sensation and thought we experience has a corresponding physical reflection, a feeling in us. Now, when the sensation or the thought is no longer present, the tension is released. And we experience this reversal of tension as a kind of balance that we call emotional balance. So the steady resolving work in this inner circuitry gives us the steady formation and release of feelings that we associate with emotional well-being. Now in 2000, I published a book called The Conscious Stream Review Edition, and that outlines these concepts in more detail. You can download it free at impulsing.net or get a physical copy at Universal Publishers or other online sources. So how did this help? How does this help solve my problem? Well, like with other systems, when you have insight into how it works, you can use feelings as clues or signals. So, for example, when we have a symptom like scurvy, we can use our insight to take vitamin C to release the scurvy and to restore balance in that system. But we also need to maintain our systems before they get distressed. So in the case of understanding metabolism, when we know how we work at this in this system, we can plan and practice a balanced diet so that we can maintain nutritional balance, ongoing nutritional balance. And so these symptoms don't come up in the first place. So soon after I published The Conscious Stream, I realized that it wasn't practical enough. Okay, so it gives us a way to restore balanced feelings but not maintain. So for example, when we have a distressful feeling, we can use this insight to kind of see what happened and then propose a way using work in the other areas that will lead to a release of the tension and that will restore balance. But we also need to know how to maintain balance. We need to know enough about this system, enough insight, so that we can plan and practice a healthy lifestyle so that distressful feelings, debilitating experiences don't come up routinely in the first place. So to meet my goal of writing a new edition, so far I've clarified the concepts, I've refined them, I've updated the terminology, and I've added illustrations. And then I started to outline further concepts that can help us maintain emotional balance. Because we need to have balance in this system just like we have balance in the other systems. For example, we can define a healthy lifestyle as a pattern of balanced activities that leave ongoing balanced feelings and that keep excessive stresses from coming up in the first place and that support the same in others. So that when we are developing and refining our personal healthy lifestyle, we can meet locally, socially, and identify both personal and social activities that further support our developing a healthy lifestyle and refining it. And we can contribute physical and intellectual resources to meet the needs of our local communities and the interfacing communities and cultures that make up our planet. To write this new edition as efficiently as I can, I need help. So I'm planning to launch a Kickstarter campaign to both for funding and also to introduce the model or theory, if you like. This campaign will be a little different than more traditional campaigns in that it will have a maximum donation of $20, and also the same reward will go to all backers. No strings attached either way. Now, if you'd like to help jumpstart this campaign and have a PayPal account, you can contribute to impulsing@icloud.com. Now, since this is a shared endeavor, and since I believe a lot of the communication will be between backers, as I work on finishing a new edition, using new and past techniques, I'll be providing routine updates to both Kickstarter.com and impulsing.net. So if you'd like to help support me in finishing this new edition, or if you'd like to share this project with someone you think may be interested, I'd appreciate your involvement.